Hi, my name is Kate Funk, and I am the founder and the creator of Ready Made Preschool, and I want to welcome you to this session on preschool and kindergarten without tears. I'm going to begin by just giving you a little bit of background on myself. I'm a homeschool mom of 5 children, ranging from the ages of 18 to 6, and I've been homeschooling since the very beginning. I'm getting ready to actually graduate my oldest this year, so very exciting. I have a background in special education, and after homeschooling and the more children I had, I realized there was a need for a curriculum that was easy to use, hands-on, and fun. So that's when I developed our company, Ready Made Preschool. Today I'm just going to share with you my philosophy on teaching those early years and share with you some tips and ways that you can implement this approach in your own home. This is what preschool should look like in your home. There should be laughing. It should be a little messy. They should be exploring with different materials, paint, glitter, glue, Play-Doh. They should be moving around. I don't always want to see preschoolers sitting in chairs. It should be fun and engaging. They shouldn't even know they're learning. This is what I don't want to see. This is what preschool should not look like in your home. There shouldn't be tears, either from you or your child. Clean kids using only a pencil and maybe crayons. Sitting at a table using workbooks. Your child doesn't want to do it. They know they are supposed to be learning. They shouldn't. Hint, if they know they're learning, it's typically not fun. There are many different philosophies for teaching preschool. There's that one philosophy that says that preschoolers should just be sitting at a table, using workbooks, maybe writing with a pencil. It's very rigid. Other people believe preschoolers don't need any sort of formal education, that they can just go off and play and learn everything from play. My philosophy lies somewhere in the middle. Preschoolers are sponges. They're at the perfect age for soaking in so much knowledge. So I believe if they're provided with the right learning environment that's age appropriate, great learning can happen. Let's talk about the components of a quality preschool program. First of all, the program should be fun and engaging. Children should be having so much fun that they don't even know they're learning. One of the important things we teach preschoolers is our letters. And one way to teach letters would be to put them at a table with a pencil on a piece of paper. That's boring, and kids don't learn that way. The best way to do that is to provide them with something fun. So you could give them a cutout letter G, introduce them to the letter, tell them the letter, tell them the sound, and then have them create a gift wrap G, emphasizing the G in gift wrap. Another fun thing, especially for our boys, is making a tire track T. What kid would not rather take a paint and a car and run their car through paint and drive it all over the letter T versus writing letter T's in a notebook? Another fun thing to do is, for a math activity, instead of sitting down and just writing your numbers or sitting down and then drilling them with flashcards, another fun thing is make it a game. So I use, in my level 1 program, I have these large animal cutouts that we hide around the house. And then we get the kids all excited and pretend we're going on a safari. They can pack a bag, pack a snack, whatever makes them happy. And then you're going to take them around the house and collect all the different animals. But when they're done, they're going to bring it either to the table or to the floor and sort their animals, which is a great math skill. After they've sorted them, they can count each of their animals. So maybe they have 2 elephants and 3 alligators. We can do a little math and say, how many more alligators do we have than elephants? So we just did math with our child in a way that was fun and exciting and without sitting at a table doing a rigid math lesson. Another idea for making things fun is playing games. So we use this alphabet bingo in both our level 1 and level 2, where they're playing bingo. The younger kids can just do letter identification. You can say, find the letter T as you play bingo. Older children will start to associate the sound. Can you find the letter that says T? So as they're learning, they're having fun. Another component of a quality preschool program is choosing lessons and activities that are relevant to your child's life. This means picking activities that revolve around the seasons, holidays, and your child's interest. For example, in the fall, create lessons that revolve around pumpkins. Visit the pumpkin patch, learn about the life cycle of a pumpkin. Or in the winter, learn about snow and read books about snow and create a snow picture. Maybe you use your child's interest. Maybe he loves airplanes. Create lessons all around airplanes. Just have fun and enjoy. One of the most important components of a quality preschool program is that it's multi-sensory. Children learn best when they're touching, feeling, moving, hearing, seeing, and using all their senses. Everyone is born with a strong mode of learning. Some people are more visual, others more auditory. Some children are more tactile. So this approach to learning multisensory allows children to use all their senses while learning. Because they're using their stronger mode of learning, they learn the material, but at the same time, since it's multisensory, they're using their weaker mode and strengthening it by use. This is why I'm not a fan of workbooks. Workbooks are not multisensory. We're only using one mode of learning. by just writing and by using our eyes. So we like that multisensory approach. Let me give you some examples of how to use that multisensory approach. For example, a fun way for children to learn to write their letters is by writing their letters in shaving cream or sand or even pudding if they do more writing than finger licking in that one. But it's a fun way, it's multisensory, they're touching and they're seeing, versus just sitting there and holding a pencil. Here's an example of a multisensory activity that we use in our Level 1 program. We read the story, There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly. After reading the story one time, we give the children a blank person cut out. They then get to decorate her and turn her into the old lady who swallowed a fly. Now, the very next time they read the story, we have them place the animals that come in the kit in her belly as they get to that part of the story. So when they get to the part, There was an old lady who swallowed a horse, they put the horse in her belly. Now, because they have used their hands, they've used that multisensory learning, they've listened, they've touched, they are better able to, at the end of the week after reading that story, sequence the story themselves. Another component of a quality preschool program is incorporating quality literature. Oftentimes people ask me what makes a book quality. So now I'm going to go through and discuss the different components of a book that make it of quality. The first one is quality literature contains a moral message. Here's a great example, the story See the Ocean. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that book says. This is one of my favorites. This is a story about a girl, Nellie, who loves the ocean. Every year she travels with her family over the Black Mountains to their beach house. And every year her two brothers compete to see who will catch a glimpse of the ocean through the mountain passes. Nellie never competes until this year. This year the mountains are blanketed in a heavy mist and no one can see the ocean. No one except Nellie. So this is one of my favorite stories because at the end, after Nellie gives this beautiful description of the ocean, we learn that Nellie is actually blind. This is a great opportunity to talk about special needs and differences in people, and that God created us all, and that not all of us are perfect in His eyes. Another great example is the story about Ping. Ping is the name of a domestic duck that lives on a riverboat on the Yangtze River in China. He gets sent away every morning to forage along the river with his relatives, and is expected back every evening. The last duck on the boat will get a swat with a stick, and one day he is the last duck. He is afraid to return and spend the night on shore. When he awakens, his boat is gone, and he is soon caught by a boy on another boat where he worries about becoming their dinner. After some time, the boy lets Ping go, just as all his duck relatives are getting back on Ping's boat nearby. Ping rejoins his family and happily receives the last duck swat. This book emphasizes the importance of family, and also when we do things wrong that sometimes we just need to accept the consequence and move on. Great books contain a rich vocabulary. Now this is a tricky one because you don't want a book that has such great big vocabulary words that your child doesn't understand it. But you want to find a book that interweaves those good vocabulary words in a gentle way. Here's a great example, How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World. In this story, the child travels all around the world trying to gather the finest ingredients to make her apple pie. And here's a sample from a sentence in the story. French chickens lay elegant eggs, and you only want the finest ingredients for your pie. Coax the chicken to give you an egg. Now, after reading that story, your child may not know what the word coax means. You might want to ask them. Maybe you want to pause at that point of the story and say, do you know what the word coax means? If they don't, try using it in a sentence. For say, I had to coax you last night to eat your broccoli. Or maybe I have to coax you to clean your room. Even if you don't stop and talk about each of those words, they will gain a richer vocabulary just by exposing them to quality literature. Great children's book use language in creative ways. And here's a story that I love for that. It's called The Scarecrow's Dance. Now, I will warn you, this story in our house is quite controversial. My children think it's a little creepy, but I actually think it's beautiful. Here is a sentence from the story. The scarecrow heard with painted ears and wept a pail of painted tears. Then turning, danced back to his field, and right before his pole he kneeled. The way this story is written is very poetic, and it may be not the way we talk every day, but it is great to expose our children to that type of writing. Creativity. Look for books that are creatively written. These two stories, If You Give a Moose a Muffin, If You Give a Pig a Pancake, are clever books that are funny and children love to read. Nothing is more fun than curling up on a couch with your child and just laughing reading these silly stories. And there are so many other activities you can do after reading these stories. Look for stories that contain a learning component. We don't want dry textbooks for our preschoolers, but great children's literature creatively weaves science and social studies and math into children's stories. For example, in this story, Over in the Ocean, We have both science and math interwoven into the story, without it being presented in a dry way like a textbook. Let me read you this page. Over in the ocean, in a sea anemone, lived an old mother clownfish and her little clownfish 3. Dart, said the mother. We dart, said the 3. So they darted all around in a sea anemone. This book is great for science because we can learn all about sea creatures. Right here on this page, we have clownfish. And if it weren't for the movie Finding Nemo, many children wouldn't even know what a clownfish was. But for each sea animal in this book, in the back of the book, there's a little paragraph with some interesting facts and information on that animal. So on one day, you could turn to the back of the book and read about clownfish or maybe even sea anemone. Additionally, we have math interwoven in. Not only are there 3 clownfish on the page, but there are also 3 sea anemones and 3 starfish. So you can have your children pause on each page and count the animals. Look for children's books that use great artwork and pictures throughout. This story, The Very First Thanksgiving, has beautiful artwork throughout the book, as well as the story before that we just talked about, Over in the Ocean. That entire book was formed in clay. This is a great way to expose our children to different genres of artists. I am always encouraging moms to read to their children, but oftentimes moms complain they can't get their little ones to sit still. So I'm going to share some tips and things to do to help your child be attentive to stories. First of all, keep their hands busy. Give them things to do. For example, we used that old lady who swallowed a fly earlier in the session. Use that. Use something like that where they're putting animals in her belly so they have something to do. Also, give them hand motions to do. If you're reading We're Going on a Bear Hunt, can't go under it, can't go over it, give them something to do with their hands. Secondly, you can also include them in the storytelling by having them say or do something. Repeat the lyrics. Oftentimes, children's books have repetition, so have them say the repetitious lines. Ask them questions as you read. Have them look at the picture and find things. Finally, worst case scenario, read to them at bath when they're confined or bedtime when they're getting ready to go to bed. Most children will not turn down a story if it's between that and going to bed. Another component of a quality preschool program is to make sure what you're teaching them is age appropriate. We want to make sure your child is developmentally capable of doing what you're asking. For example, fine motor skills is one area that I often see people struggling with their child. Most preschoolers, 3-year-olds especially, are not ready for formal handwriting, yet oftentimes you see them trying to use pencils because the program they're using isn't encouraging it. But instead, they could be writing with their finger in sand or shaving cream, or even using the Do-A-Dot book. This is a more age-appropriate way for preschoolers to form their letters, and it's also fun. Also, scissors. Oftentimes you'll see preschoolers trying to cut circles, but they're not quite ready for that. You need to just start with getting them to cut little snippets, or maybe making a paper mache by just cutting any random shape of paper. Circles are really hard, and that's something they learn later on. Additionally, attention span. You do not need to be spending hours and hours a day working with your preschooler. You can simply spend 30 to 45 minutes a day for a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old and cover all your bases in a preschool program. Another component of a quality preschool program is by using a thematic approach to learning. A thematic approach means basically you are putting all your subjects, pre-reading, math, science, social studies, under one theme. Children learn best when all the learning is connected. The final and most important component of a quality preschool program is making sure that what you're teaching is biblically based. Parents often come to me and ask me for a recommendation or on a Bible curriculum for their preschooler. But honestly, at that age, the most important thing you can do is read to them from a children's Bible daily. Not the King James Version and not an adult version, but a great children's Bible with pictures. Also, throughout the day, point to God. As you're walking in the yard and you see a butterfly, talk about how God created that butterfly. Or if you're reading a story, maybe Guess How Much I Love You, talk about how much God loves your child and how much God loves everyone. Just point to God continually throughout the day. If you like this approach to learning, the Ready-Made Preschool is a great fit for you. We have 2 levels of comprehensive preschool curriculum. It's all hands-on learning with everything you need for the year cut, prepped, and ready and included in the kit. It even has the glue sticks and the scissors and the glitter. Also, it is comprehensive in that it covers letters, sounds, numbers, Bible, math, science, social studies, all in that fun thematic approach. Each week there is a letter of the week with a corresponding story to go along with it. The stories are not included in the kit, but are really easy to find at the library, and actually most people find that they have them at their own home. Here is an example from our Level 2 curriculum, Week 4, Letter H. The corresponding story is A House for Hermit Crab. In this lesson, you will see a few of the activities the child will create throughout the week. But for more information and to read the whole lesson, please visit readymadepreschool.com. Thank you so much for listening to our session. We pray that you feel encouraged that you can homeschool your preschooler. Our goal at Ready Made is to make homeschooling easy for you. So please check out our products and our sample lessons at readymadepreschool.com. Thank you so much.